All right,
Hey, guys.
we're back. We're here with Mike Fellows, who is our opposing voice. So, Mike, we want to know, why do you oppose the school bond?
I think for one reason, it's taxes. Missoula gets to be a very expensive place to live. We keep piling on more taxes. The county has got a 4% increase. The city has got a 6% increase. We just passed the parks and bonds levy last year, $42 million. That's going to come due this time around. And the school election, I think they've got it all backwards, because it'd be nice to have a needs list instead of a wish list.
Right.
Because they start in the spring and they say we want $158 million, and then you sort of check in the boxes to get enough projects to equal $158 million. And so I think the process is backwards, because they didn't have the language, the ballot language out until late September, and so people didn't really get a chance to see what the ballot language is. And you can see if anybody that's had a ballot, it's a pretty long list on both sides, of different things, and are people going to be able to understand all that stuff? I mean, some people, particularly like in the Hellgate area, they don't realize that they're going to lose a lot of their student parking. So where are those students going to park? Well, they're going to park in the university area. A lot of those university folks aren't going to be too happy to lose their sort of parking. So there's those kind of situations. Mm-hmm. And so I think too, when you look at
my next question is, in terms of other like taxes and other things that are happening around here, would you say that we haven't had a tax necessarily that's geared towards like education or schools in a while? Like, not since, of course, like there's that tech thing, but that was kind of like that's what they would consider a drop in the bucket according to them. But they haven't been any kind of like major bond or major push to improve the schools in general. What would you say about that?
Well, see, there's always maintenance that has to be done, and so those are important things that you need to get out to the taxpayers and say, look, these are our needs, and these are what we need to fix this year, and they've had opportunities to do that. Unfortunately, in the past, they've decided that they would give the administrators more money, administration more money than they do to put into schools. If roofs and boilers were really all that important, that would have got done years ago. They wouldn't have waited until the last minute to say, look, let's just put all these things on one ballot, and we'll see if we can't go for the moon, so to speak.
Right. Yeah. So are you saying that administrators should be paid less and maintenance should be put up, so that would help kind of save on costs?
I think so.
Yeah, and so what would you say to the people that are claiming that they're like teaching in closets, or that their internet is running really slow, and that they need all of these updates to the schools?
When you talk about the internet, you talk about the technology level. That's what I mentioned before, is that in 2013 we passed a technology levy. The schools got almost $900,000. $350 for the high schools and $450 something for the elementary schools. And so where did that money go to? Certainly, we as consumers don't buy computers every 2 years. I mean, I've known people who are still working on G4s, Apple's slow technology, and they're still, granted they're not in a school type setting, but I mean, you're always kind of think you need the latest and greatest, when I think what they have now, given the fact that we just gave them $900,000, should be enough, at least for the technology portion of the bond itself. And so you'd have to ask yourself, well, where did that money go to if it didn't go to computers, if it didn't go to internet connections, if it didn't go to those things that they feel that they needed.
Okay.
So before we go, you want to give yourself a plug from your Libertarian Party. You also are a member of the Libertarian Party here in Missoula and of Montana, right?
Yep.
Right, so if you want to talk about it, if anybody's interested in being a part of that.
We're a simple political party. We don't believe in the use of force or fraud to achieve our political or social goals. We simply believe that as long as you live in a free society and you're not forcibly hurting somebody else, you should be free to make your own choices. Because you make your own choices. It's not the government that makes their own choices. It's not your neighbors that make your choices. It's you yourself. And so we kind of a live and let live type attitude. And I think a lot of people are looking at that more and more, I think, these days, because they do want economic freedom. They want personal freedom. They don't want to pay all these high taxes for useless bureaucratic mess, but they still want to go out and do the things that they want to do without infringing on the rights of others. And so basically you own your own self, you own your own property, and as long as you're not infringing on the rights of others, then you should be free to do as you please, so to speak.
Well, my last question is, what do you think that the school should be doing differently then?
Well, I think one, we need to quit paying administration so much. Two, we need more school choice, because obviously, parents should have choices in place where their kids get education, and certainly some of that would help. I mean, certainly when you look at it, things like teacher performance pay would help as well. Obviously we got some of the new Common Core programs that are coming out in math and science, and a lot of people are complaining about some of those programs because it used to be like in algebra. If you were a smart student, well, you could take algebra in the middle schools, but now the Common Core say, well, no, they can't do that. We've got to wait until high school. And there are students that learn faster than others, and those students should be placed in where they should be, so they can learn, because sometimes students get bored when they're held back. And so I think there's things that we can look at.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Mike, and we'll be right back with some cats from KBGA.
And everybody should realize that, Tuesday is the last day to get your ballot in, so if you haven't got it mailed in by Saturday, take it down to the courthouse or take it down to the fairgrounds and vote. I mean, even if you don't know who the city council people are, just put vote no on your ballot and ship it in. You don't have to fill it all out, but at least vote for your pocketbook, I think, and that's one of the main reasons.
Great. Thank you very much, Mike.